Well, if the story is not ready, to say you welcome.
Thank you once
We
again.
were just talking about human rights. Human rights. The story will be coming soon. We were talking about human rights.
Of course.
What is it?
First, we can say rights are the opposite of what we say duties or obligations. A person should have some specificity on earth, like right to live, right to be fed, right to get to good schools, I mean, a right of education, right to found his or her own family, right to have a job, right to speak, what we say, freedom of speech, right to have his or her own religions. Those kind of things, we can call them rights. And around many years, through ages, people on earth fought to have these rights. So we pay tribute to those who fought in former days to have this right for us now.
Yeah, so we just talk about the rights, and we talk about the 75th, the Declaration of Human Rights. We know that human beings need something. They know that they needed something. They fought for it, and they had it, as you said. But for 75 years now, this declaration has been practiced, has been put into practice. It has been said within the celebration in Geneva that there are still rights that are not being given to some people in some places of the world.
Yeah, of course. It's like it's a work. To have a right is a work. It's a journey. We can't reach the destination immediately. So for the meantime, we can say that what have been passed in the former days are not being implemented right now. But rights are going further and furthermore better, like freedom. In the moment of dictatorship in some countries, we cannot be here to express our minds, have a free mind speech. We cannot have it. In some countries, like those having Islamist thoughts, I'm not talking about Muslims, those having Salafist or Islamist thoughts, they don't give rights to some persons to express themselves, like rights to have internet, right to get connected or to speak or have ideas with other persons, like North Korea. When you get to North Korea, you cannot have a right like getting into some countries like France or United States of America or England. So they still having some rights that are being fought for. We should fight for some rights, and some countries are on the way.
Yeah, I know to fight for something, you have to know. We are even in a public service here in Togo, but you don't know some of our rights. You have to know, you have to dig into it. What can you do?
For that, also, something is said that if you want to hide something from a black one, write it in a book. There are some certain things that have been written in books, but many of us, black people, we don't like to read. There are certain things like a rule of work, law of work in some big documents.
It's too much.
Too much for
100
people.
pages, 200.
Yeah, to read. And if the moment has come for you to pay for something you did, it's now that you'll be looking at this document, but you should read it before.
Yes, let me give you an example that will make you laugh. It's a funny example that I'm going to give.
Go ahead.
It's something that the other time somebody was telling us that, you civil servants, you have the right to some amount of money yearly for the birthday of your children. Then we all started laughing. Are you sure? Say, yes, it's a right for you. That it's a right that you don't even enjoy. So you have to look for it. Make the necessary documents so that at the end of every year, they calculate it for you, your children. The government to celebrate your children's birthday.
Yeah, I can testify it because I'm a teacher, and some students used to come to the headmaster to have a paper to give to the father, and the father will give it to his service.
Government, so that
the government to have something.
There's something for them.
Yeah, yes. Not every person knows this kind of step to know the rights.
Yeah. So we have to move now to seek for our rights. And now ask for them,
especially
demand.
to read,
Yes.
because rights are written in some document, but we don't read.
Yeah, as we are talking about human rights, I was saying earlier on that the 75th Human Rights Day was celebrated on the 10th of December this year, and it was the Prime Minister, Victoria Tobe-Dogbe, who represented the whole nation and gave out issues related to human rights in Togo, examples of issues related to human rights in Togo. Let's have the story. 75 years in the existence of an international institution in matters of human rights cannot be a no-event. It was an opportunity to listen to reports and, on the other hand, that of making promises. The UN was committed 75 years ago to promote equality amongst nations and rise to freedom and peace. Heads of states and of government passed in review events and activities that marked this UN institution and found solutions to current challenges. Armed conflicts, terrorist attacks, democratic rule, search for dialogue faced with superpowers were topics discussed during panels that followed the opening ceremony of this high-level event. Panels that did not leave issues on climatic change and global warming untouched. The Togolese Prime Minister Victoria Tobe-Dogbe enumerated initiatives by her government to curb down consequences of global warming. According to her, Togo had put in place a green mobility project that consists of encouraging the use of solar-powered cars and motorbikes and subsidized to low polluant vehicles and a budget sensible to climate. In the energy sector, Togo aimed at researching 50% renewable energy use in households and industries by year 2030. She further underlined solar energy plants created in the sector. In the field of agriculture, the Prime Minister highlighted the move towards organic end products for home and outside consumption. She ended by talking about the laws voted by Togo aiming at protecting wildlife and hunting activities. Many were countries that hoped that other rights not enjoyed today could be revamped, and rights such as women empowerment, other health issues, and educational rights. Well, back to studio with Donatien. We just watched the Prime Minister's activities in Geneva. Yeah. What can you say about the just ended report?
Yeah, I like it because they told truth, because there's still some rights that we should fight for, and those especially on women issues and also on educational issue. We don't have a good, a quality of education in some areas, but some other areas are being developed, because to develop a country we need good education. If you are not taught certain things, you cannot do it. Like technology right now, we have the right to know how to perform technologies. Not only we have rights to use or to consume what other persons are creating. And our Prime Minister went there, to represent our country and to let people know that we also here in our country, we're doing much thing about respecting human rights. And something also about human rights is the imposition of Western thoughts to the world. They have certain thoughts. I'm talking about a certain thing hidden that you can understand. They will say that it's rights for everyone to have to be like the way they are, but compulsory pushing it to there.
You know that in Africa most of the time you hide the rights and the taboos.
Yeah.
Don't go to the forest because it's a sacred forest, so no one going even in that forest to look for a firewood.
Yeah.
Because it's secret.
Yeah, but
today they are saying that no, you have the right to go to that forest.
And we used to go there. We have
you cut the trees and
bad things are used to come into us, because some persons used to go and pick some fish from some rivers, and the river disappear.
Yeah.
Those are the power that we got in Africa. But
Yes.
for the human rights, we should stay working for it, especially in our family cycle, our areas of work where we are. Everyone should work for the rights of the other person, because like we used to say, we are the guards of our mates.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should work for
Donatien,
their
as we are in
rights.
studio,
Yep.
let me ask you this question.
Go
You
ahead.
just talk about you have to work upon the rights that we have. Okay, now coming back to our country, Togo, when you compare from the independence up to today, what are some of the changes that you can see within the rights?
The main change
human-
that
yeah.
we can notice is freedom of speech. We didn't have it like this before I was born. Even in the moment I was born, freedom of speech was not present like the way it is now. And also equality in gender equity.
Yeah.
Having 50 and 50 ladies, 50 ladies and 50 boys to attend to a competition, or to have women in some areas, some places. We didn't have it before. We recently have the Speaker of the Parliament, like a women position. We recently have also our Prime Minister, ministers, and this was much imposed. I mean, during the local ballots, it has been said that every list should have a certain number of women. And I guess this will come again by the legislative ballots on way coming. So especially about women, gender equity, and also freedom of speech, there is difference between former years, 50 years before and right now.
Yeah. Okay. Donatien, time is against us. You're still in studio. What do you have to tell us?
What I can say is that women being...
When you see human rights being put into practice in our country.
Of course, every woman, we have it in our constitution. We have it in our constitution that every human being are born equal in rights. There is no Togolese above other Togolese. We all are equal in rights. So we need now to work on others, because we have a power. Certain persons think that their position of having a power, being a boss somewhere, should lead them to work on others. We should fight as you are strong, fight for the weak. That's what we should do in this country, to have a smile on every lips. So the strong should work for the weak also to be in the country. Our rights, we should fight for it.
Thank you very much, Donatien, for being in studio with us. Well, viewers, we continue with businessmen and investors in Togo who were trained on competitiveness of Togolese products on the local as well as the international market. On the side of some participants, we cannot talk about competition when your product is not of good quality. Clarissa Tickler recorded an interview for us. Let's listen to it.
We are glad to be here to learn more about the laws that guide, though we are guided by the ECOWAS Trade Liberalization Scheme. That is our guide to enter the Togo market. And we believe having a guidance will really regulate the market. When you talk about competition, you also talk about the quality of the product. So when the quality, we don't just talk about the pricing when it comes to competition, we also talk about the quality for the consumers, because the end game here is for the consumer to have very, very good products. And at Dangote, that has been our aim, to satisfy the last consumer. Wherever we are, we ensure that the consumers are happy with our product, because we give them very, very good quality products.
Well, viewers, before we end today's program, a new expression for you is from Nutsuga Ahwefa.
Last week's expression was a piece of cake. A piece of cake. What does it mean? A piece of cake refers to an easy task or something that requires minimal effort. For example, groundnut soup is a piece of cake for my mother to prepare. Groundnut soup is a piece of cake for my mother to prepare, which means groundnut soup is easy for my mother to prepare. Today, I come with a new idiomatic expression which is out of the blue. Out of the blue. When we are surprised or not aware of a situation, we say it is out of the blue. Out of the blue simply defines something happening suddenly or unexpectedly. Here are some sentences. Out of the blue, a heavy rain caught the teenagers during the picnic. The lady received a job offer and was out of the blue. That's all for today. See you next Saturday.
The expression out of the blue. Well, viewers, it is on this that we bring to this program to an end. I hope to be with you again next week at the same time for the same program. Have a nice weekend.